Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, let's start this Bava Metzia daf Nun Beis. We are going to begin on the bottom of Nun Aleph Amud Beis by the new Mishnah. Says the Masnisin, Kama tehei hasel chasera. How much is a coin going to be missing or diminished? V'yehi ba'ona, and there's still not going to be ona on this. Says Rashi, Matbeh hayoytze v'tamid hu shaychik v'chaser. So if you have a coin that's used a lot, because it's constantly being touched, what ends up happening is there's an erosion. See, the way it was in times of the Mishnah, the face value of a coin reflected the value of the amount of metal in the coin, based on weight. So therefore, since coins were constantly being touched, so by touching it, it diminishes it. It causes erosion in the metal, and therefore it contains less metal. The question is now, since a coin in itself has value by the metal of the coin, so how much is missing in a coin that it's still considered to be an acceptable coin? So Ramer Oimer Arba Isarais, 4 Isser, Rashi says is 4 Isser to a Sela, and Isser Ladiner. And there's 1 Isser to a dinner, which is, as Rashi says, echad mechaf dalad boy. So this is 1/24th. So that is the calculation. The vav ma kesef dinner, fine. So Rashi explains it, but basically, if there's a lot missing, but it's not as much as to the extent of beyond 1/24th, then it's okay. So most of the coin is still intact, just a small amount. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, he says, Arba pundoinois, 4 pudyoin ledinner, a pudyoin to a dinner. So a pudyoin to a dinner is 1/12th, as opposed to an isser to a dinner is 1/24th. So therefore, it's telling you 1/12th. Rav Shimon Omer, as we continue to Nun Beis Mun Aleph, shmoina pudyoinois, 8 pudyoins, Shnei pudyoinim l'dinner, 2 pudyoin to a dinner. So not a pudyoin to a dinner, which would be 1/12th, but 2 pudyoin to a dinner, which makes it 2/12ths or 1/6. So this actually is a question that's cited in different places. Let's look at Nun TB9. Kamate hamatbeh chasera v'hei bo'ona, or it's not ona, 1/6, 1/12th, 1/24th. So that's the machlokas. Okay, and I believe this is also question 9. Kamet tehem matbeh chaser v'hei bo'ona, ramer echad mechav dalad, echad mechad beis, shtos, 1/6. So now the Mishnah asks a different question. On motem motel haksen. This is interesting because when it comes to a coin, you don't have to keep this coin. You could exchange it for another one. But just like we mentioned before, when it comes to a na, that you have until you can go to a tagar or to show it to your karov if by a lokeach, so too is the din by matbeya. You have a certain amount of time to make an exchange. So when is that? So b'krachim, if we're dealing with krachim, which are bigger cities, ad kadei shir l'shulchani, you could go to your person who is an expert in looking at different coins, who's a money exchanger. So therefore, once that's taken place and you didn't do anything, now it's too late. However, B'kfarim, which do not have a shulchani because they're small villages, ad arvi shabbosais. Why on Erev Shabbos? Says Rashi, Shabolo haitzib Erev Shabbos l'suda Shabbos. So certainly you're going to go in order to buy food. You're going to figure out if this coin is acceptable. Okay. Im haya makira. Now, if let's say the giver recognizes, then even after 12 months, he's able to accept it. Now, even though we mentioned before until Erev Shabbos, we're going to see maybe this is Midas Chasidus. Ve'en lo love el tarumais. The Gemara is going to explain what does that mean. There's no complaints on that. The only thing you do is complain. What are you complaining about if someone is accepting it? Okay. And then the Mishnah concludes, V'nostel meiser sheni, this bad coin can be given for the redemption of Meiser Sheni, because we know Meiser Sheni, if the fruits are too heavy, so you could redeem it onto money, and then you take the money and you bring it to Yerushalayim. So you could actually redeem it onto Meiser Sheni, and we'll see the reason for that in the Gemara. Is not a concern. Shenu el nefesh ra. It's only literally a bad soul. It says Rashi, "Lefi she'enu midazu shel poisle matbeya b'shel chisaron ma'at el nefesh ra." Okay, we'll understand this more when we get into the Gemara. So, fight the Gemara. Minhim ad kamate hasel chasera. How long should it be that this coin is missing? V'yehi ona. Now again, the way that our Mishnah said it is v'lo yeh ona. Now it's a little bit difficult with the girsas over here. Is it v'lo yeh ona, or maybe it should taka say that it is ona? So which one is it? So Papa kasha tani dedan kachashiv mamatal amala tana bara kachashiv milmal amata. So it just depends on which direction you're going. So if you're saying, let's say, for example, 1/5, so Rashi says, bahani shuri haviona, that these measurements are ona. So if you hit 1/6, 1/12, 1/24, that's where it becomes a problem. The question is it more, let's say we're talking about 1/6. Okay. So if it's 1/9, 1/8, 1/7, that's okay. 1/6 is a problem. 1/5, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5 is a problem, and 6 is also a problem. So it's really not a question, it's just which direction you're looking at. So Maishna Basela de Pligi, Maishna Batalos de Loi Pligi. How come, this is a separate kasha, how come when it comes to the case of a talus, there's no machlokus, we know it's a 1/6. I mean, Rav Tarfon says a 1/3, okay. But over here we have a 3-way machlokas. So Marava Mantana Talis, Rav Shimon he. The truth is, Rav Shimon, who says it's the shtos, the 6th, he's the one who mentions the talis, which means it really is a machlokas there too. Just we've only been introduced to the 6th of Rav Shimon. Now again, there is Rav Tarfon, but we don't see these other two people that argue. But maybe they do. Maybe actually there is a difference. Because when it comes to a talus, up until 1/6, a person can be Michael. Even though there's a 12, let's say it's a 12th or 24th, they're Michael, it's a small amount chipped away from a coin. The Amri Inshi, because people say, Oshik Ligaboch, to, again, we're talking about a talus rather, Pufaket. Adshtos Mochel Inish. If it's like a tiny amount of the garment, it's overpriced or underpriced, a tiny amount, you're moichel. Why? Because ashach gaboch, to clothe yourself, you'll maybe accept a little bit of an overcharge. Veshavi lekiriseich, lekiriseich, and therefore it's good like for your stomach. Basically, what it's saying is that it's a good thing that you'll be able to do this. As Rashi, ashik gaboch hitzach chasas gufcha. I need to cover my body. V'yesh le'karesoch le'malchacha le'tishka el b'shavya. Okay. Ya'iser al kain meicha b'shavya. However, if it's second, okay. Ashik le'gabah b'shavya karsech. Sela kivandu le'sag le'moichel. However, when it comes to a coin, you're not going to be moichel. So again, when it comes to clothing, we have this larger measurement of 1/6. No one says 1/12, 1/24, because they're like, at least it's covering me and it serves a purpose. However, when it comes to a coin, it's got to be this amount. 1/12 is unacceptable. 1/24 is not acceptable. So that's the second answer. Gufa. An kamte hasel chaser v'hebo no ramer oimer abba sira sisla dinner, which again we says 1/12. Rabbi Huda Eimer Dalad Pidyonis Pudyon Ledinner. Again, the first one was 1/24th rather. Dalad Pidyonis Pidyon Ledinner, which is 1/12. Shimon Eimer Shmeina Pidyonis Shnei Pidyon Ledinner, which is 1/6. Yasal can more than that. Marcha B'Shav, it's got to be sold at its face value. So ad kama tipaches, how much should this go down? Ve'yehi rashay l'kaima, that you could still hold on to this coin. So this is another question, that if this coin has really been diminished through the massive amount of erosion, is there a certain amount that you should say, at this point you should no longer keep this coin? So basela ad shekel. If we're dealing with a sela, if it's diminished all the way up until a shekel, which is basically half of its value, half is already removed. Says Rashi, sela hatavua upoiches v'hoyach ad shekel. As long as it goes all the way down to a half, mutal l'kaim, you can still keep it. Din asul ramaisbo b'nei adam lamarcha b'sel yafe, because no one's going to actually think it's a regular good sela. Lafi shepacha shloi nicker. It's going down, its erosion is very recognizable. So if it's a sela, we allow it to go all the way down to a shekel. Therefore, it's not considered an issue because it's very clear that you can see the erosion, and therefore no one's going to make that mistake. There's not going to be any deception. But dinner ad rova, when it comes to a dinner until a rova, says Rashi, v'im haya dinner nivchas ad she'amad al rova mutal kaima. Dinner kaimer. We're talking about a quarter of a dinner. When kame parich, then we're going to ask maishna sela do matzuli shavi el ad chetziyai. When it comes to a sela, it only goes until half, to a shekel. The dinner ad roiva. How come a dinner goes until a quarter of a dinner? So why do we say it can go all the way from a dinner to a quarter, all as opposed to a sel can only go to a shekel, which is a half? Okay. Pachas mekain. Iser, Aser Lohoitzia. So any more than that, any less than that, Gemara is going to explain exactly what that means. So Harizeli Mecharena, you cannot sell this. That which we said it's Aser to keep. Says Rashi Zusha Amru Aser Kaima. What does it mean you can't keep it? So it means that not only can you not keep it, you can't sell this to a merchant, or to an extortionist. Says Rashi, Adam Anos. Not to a murderer, because they certainly are people that will trick others, and therefore you can't give it to them. Ella yikbenna, rather you put a hole in the coin, v'yislena b'tzavor b'noi, or b'tzavor b'ita. You can use it like as a necklace, so therefore it's not going to end up being misused. Omer Mar, b'selad shekel b'dinarad roiva. So ma'ishna b'selad shekel goes only till half. Ma'ishna b'dinarad roiva. How come from a dinner can go all the way down to a quarter of its value? So Rabbi, my roiva dekatani nami roiva shekel. It means a quarter of a shekel, which is actually half of a dinner. So it's the same thing. So a dinner can go to half a dinner, which is equivalent to a quarter shekel. Omer Rabba, dekanami, and I'll prove this to you. Dekatani roiva v'lekatani ravia. Shemamina. It says rova. It doesn't say a quarter. If it was talking about a quarter of a dinner, it would say the language of ravia. The fact that it says rova, it's clearly talking about a quarter of a different coin, namely a quarter of a shekel, which therefore means half of a dinner. So lamali lamisli ladinner b'shekel. Why use a different coin, which just confused us? Why would you do that? So milsa gavarcha kamashmo, it's coming to tell you something along the way. The ikad dinner de astim shekel. There's actually an iser that comes from a shekel. Sa'ilu Rabami, dim Rabami, dinner habam shekel motor kamo. If an iser came from a shekel, you can keep it. Dinner habam sel also kamo. A dinner that comes from a sela is also to keep. So the fact that we're comparing that the dinner can go all the way to a shekel, compared to a shekel, so therefore it shows that you can actually, a dinner can go to a shekel, but a dinner cannot come from a sela. Says Rashi, dinner habam is sel also kaimo. Dinner, even if you want to use it as a dinner, since it comes from a thick coin, people are going to make a mistake. And they're going to think that this is actually a a shekel. So there could be confusion, therefore that's why it's not allowed. Okay. Pachas mekain iser asur l'hotzia. So my kamar, what does that mean? So Rabbi hachakamar. If let's say it's more than the amount of anah of an isar asur, so then you're not allowed to, that it cannot be used. Okay. Understand, if it's more than onah, then even the smallest amount. So why are you saying if it's yoismech de onah of an isser, it's asr, any amount? El Rava means like this: Pachas v'sela isser l'dinner asr. If it went down less a sela isser to a dinner, then it's considered to be asr. So, and that's Ustam Rameir. That's like the Shita of Rameir, who we mentioned says it's 1/24. Okay. So the Yeser Mechdeo Nasul Rameir di Isla Rabbi Huda. Okay. Tanan Hasan Sela Shenif Sela. So you have a coin that became invalidated. The Iskina and then fixed Shehei Shaikelba Mishkalois Tameya. So we said it's used for weights. So we say that this coin is Tame, or it's Makabal Tuma, because it's like a kli. Even though it's really served a different purpose, but now that it's possible, it's used for weights and measures. So therefore, it has the same status as an actual scale, the part of a scale, and therefore it could be Makabal Tuma like a kli. So ad kama tipaches ve'herashayla kaima. So how much could it go down and you could still keep it? So l'sela shnei dinar, for a sela 2 dinar. Pachas mekain yakots. Less than that, it should be cut up, should be destroyed. Yes, al kain mai. How about more than that? So Rav Huna pachas mekain yakots. Less, it should be destroyed, as we said before. Also, yes, al kain yakots. So less or more is a problem only if it's exact. You can keep it. And Rashi says why. Okay. Rabbi Ami Yomer Pachas B'Kein Yochitz. Yes, well, Kein Yikayim. Actually, it's not true. If it's more, then you can keep it. The Lagabi Sela, says Rashi, regarding a Sela, Minkra Pechisasa, you can see its diminishment. And you're not going to end up getting confused and thinking it's something else. So, therefore, one shita says that if it's less or more, it's the same, and otherwise you cannot keep it. So it's a machlokus whether or not it's yeser al kain, whether yiskayim or yochas has to be destroyed. Meisvei, in front of the Gemara, we continue to bezmad base. Yeser al kain, more than that, meicha b'shav, it has to be this equal amount. So my love, shepachasa yois mechdeo nasa. And we see that even though that's the case, you could still hold on to it. Lo, yisera. It's more. Then you could sell it. How much does it go down, diminish, that you can keep it? Besela ad shekel, which you said is half. My love, the pchis porta, it went down a little bit. Porta low. Porta, it went down a little bit at a time. It keeps going down a little at a time. And it says low, the nafal nura. It's when it fell into the fire, the ifchus b'chad zimna, and it went down all in one time. So in that case, you won't get confused. So since it wasn't slowly diminishing, which could cause confusion, here it all got destroyed, or a lot of it got destroyed, and therefore that becomes more distinguishable. So you should make it into a necklace. Or minhi lo yasenim mishkol ben mishkol isav. You should not put it as like a weight. Lo yizrekena ben gerus to isav, and you shouldn't throw it together with pieces of silver. Lo yigbenam yitlenem etzaver ben uvetzaver bitay. It says you should not use it even as a necklace, even though you punched a hole through the coin. Lo yishchayk, or you should just scrape it off, destroy it. O yitoich, you should cut it. O yakoitz, destroy it again. O yolach liyam melech. So basically, it's saying you should not give it as a necklace. So Amar Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Huda, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Ukasha, kan be'emsa, kan be'netzad. It depends where you put the hole. If you put the hole in the middle, then in that situation, says Rashi, be'emsa yikbena, when you put in the hole in the middle, demi shenikva lo sagya, minatzad lo yikbena, but on the side don't. Lafi shaharamai shimsena yokotzaiso saviv ad shiyotzis anekev. Navaramai boas hacher v'yotziena b'shekel. So he'd shave off, basically to hide and to make it look like a different coin. So it depends whether if it's on the side or in the middle, whether or not a person would be able to make this as a necklace. Okay, ad masai mutar lahachser b'krachim ad shir l'shulchani. If it's a bigger city, you show it to the coin maker. Bikfarim ad arvi shabasos. So ma'ishna b'sela the maflig. How come when it came to coins, we're making a distinction between a village and a large city, that those time parameters change? Ma'ishna b'talos the little maflig. However, when it comes to a talos, it's just the same. We say show it to a tager. So Rabbi Kitana nami masis b'talos b'krachim tanan. You're right. Maybe our mission is talking about, when it comes to a talos, it's talking about krachim, and therefore by krach, it's when you can show it to a shulchani. Let's look over there, we can show it to a tager. So there's no real distinction. There's no machlokas. So therefore, it's the same din. Rabbi Eimer talis. No, when it comes to a talis, kol inish kimle begava. You can stare at it. You can see it. You can see its value, and therefore you don't need to bring it to it shouldn't matter if you're in a big city or a small city. When it comes to coins, you can't evaluate a coin by yourself necessarily. El shulchani, therefore you need a shulchani. Hilkach, therefore. Bikrachim de'ika shulchani, there are these people that know about coins in large cities because they're people that exchange, money exchangers. So ad shir shulchani. Bikfarim deleka shulchani, there's no shulchani in a kfar. Ad arvi shabasois, to salkan l'shulka, because that's when they go to the marketplace. So that's the distinction here. Okay. Question 10. On masai yochol l'tvoya oina b'matbeya me'ikar hadin. So bikrachim ad shir l'shulchani, bikfarim ad erev Shabbos, as we just saw. Okay. If you recognize, you even have 12 months. So where are we talking about this 12-month span? So which one is it? Where do we get the 12 months? So it means that if you're a chassid, then you should expand to even 12 months. So there's only complaints. Well, man, who are you complaining to? You're going to complain to the chassid. So don't take it back. There won't be any complaint. The one who accepted it. So understand what's this dealing with the complaint? Ha'acher, someone who's not a chassid, who doesn't have this time parameter, even though accept it from him, in oil v'tarumos, the only complaints. A person who's exact with his coin, he is considered to be a nefesh ra. That is how this individual will be labeled. Just find the Rashi over here. Okay. He's a nefesh ra. V'hani mili hu the sagil hu. This is only this person that he that can be used. That when you wish to do an exchange, it should be the exact value, says Rashi. That it should be exchanged with a nicer one. That when you redeem it when you're going to Meiser Sheni, it should be with the better coins. So my camera, what does that mean? A person who is going to get copper coins, parta b'shavya, you're supposed to use exact value. When you redeem it, machal biyafa, you should imagine as if you had its face value. Remember the Savar Chizkiah, the mezalzalin on Meiser Sheni. It sounds like from mezalzal Meiser Sheni. Yer mechizkiah Meiser Sheni by sheva pruta. If it's less than a pruta, Omer hu v'chaim shoi. There's an extra fifth. Machol al Meiser Shainis. It's machal on this original money of hishiyeshel adam with samsim ma'isav. So we give more money than it's actually worth, not less. So how do we understand this? Okay, so my biyafa b'taris yafa the trezili lo mezalinan be. Then we're not going to be mezalzel twice, says Rashi. Chadzilusa shmi'inan the machal sel chasera. We indeed are more strict with Meiser Sheni, that you can't do two zilzals. One says you mean mechal sela, a missing sela. V'amrin hari ke simoin. It's not like a simoin, therefore it could be done. Of a tray, zili l'chal leha ma'meiser b'debei sela yafalo. That much we're not going to do. So the question again, it should go. What we said is it should go on the original money. This leftover money can go on that too. Fine. So again, that we are more strict when it comes to Meiser Sheni. The Shulchani will give you for its worth in copper coins, but when you go from Peros to take coins, we can pretend that those are good coins. So that's the idea. The Shulchani will give you its worth in copper coins, but then when you go from Peros to those coins, you can pretend that they're good coins, which seems like we're mezalzel with Meiser Sheni. Okay, let's maybe see another question. Okay, TA 8. Gimel shi'orin nemer b'chazara al matbeya chasera b'chdei shirin al shulchani. That's krachim. Erev Shabbos is kfarim. Afil ach yud beis chodesh matay nemer kol shir. So that is midas chasidus. Afil yud beis chodesh im hoyamaker samatbeya. Then you should wait an extra. You should go to 12 months. So that is TA 8. So let's add that in here. Midas chasidus shanukan. That's TA 8. Okay. TB 10. Ma'u shir hamaiser she bar pidyon adkan.